In this video, I'm going to explain to you why there's a dating crisis going on in the modern era. Before we get started, a few important things to note. If you are stuck deep in an echo chamber looking to have your confirmation bias validated, this is not the video for you. I'm going to be presenting an objective analysis of the situation. So if you're looking for a video that blames men or blames women for the dating issues, you may as well just scroll away, because I'm just going to present to you the objective psychological facts as to what's going on and why. The other reason why it's important for you to scroll away unless you're willing to be open-minded, is because the issues of the dating crisis are already in effect. The first order effects are in full swings, like loneliness, decreased sexual activity between men and women, increasing rates of anxiety, mental health issues. So the effects are already in place. Now we're starting to see more second and third order effects. The reason why it's important to actually address the issue instead of just complaining about it is because complaining about it only really negatively affects you, the viewer of this video, wherever you are in the world. Trying to blame other people for the situation doesn't actually improve the situation for you. It might give you a short-term sort of feel good, but a long-term feel bad. It's important to actually just understand what's going on and try and improve, regardless of your gender or socioeconomic status. So the primary reason for the modern dating app issue is as follows. It's really just a mismatch between human psychology and the environment. Let me explain. Humans are naturally wired to want to ensure the survival of their kinship, to basically have a family, build a family, and ensure the survival of the children. Children become adults, and then the adults have children, and the cycle continues to ensure ultimately the survival of our species, right? So one of the mechanisms that occurs within that is men and women try to select the best options available to them in order to ensure the best genetic diversity and the best production of the human species, right? Historically, the choices have been quite limited. People would just might choose the people around them, or the people in their university or their small village or their small town, right? Now with social media and dating apps and stuff, the algorithms inside social media and the dating apps constantly inflate the perceived value of the other option. The grass is always greener on the other side, basically, right? We have literally a mismatch between human biology, which is looking for the best option, and social media, which tells us that the best option is the option you haven't chosen. The thing you're choosing now is not a good option. It's actually that other thing over there that's the better option. People are ultimately getting stuck in sort of endless loops of trying to find the best option, when really the best option was probably the one of their first or second choices, not their 100th choice. The other mechanism that's really important to highlight is confirmation bias and echo chambers, which is the things that I mentioned earlier in the video, but you might not know what they are. So let me explain what they are. Confirmation bias and echo chambers basically means that, confirmation bias is when you look for information that you agree with and ignore information you disagree with, even if the information that you disagree with is actually better for you, really is what confirmation bias is about. And echo chambers is when you find like-minded information and like-minded groups, and you become a part of that group, and you ignore other groups, even if ultimately those other groups are better for you, because the group that you're currently in might be also giving you bad information. What can happen here is that if a person is experiencing problems, they might try and find like-minded people that also agree and blame the same person or the same group of people, and then you get trapped in that, and then you keep looking for things that confirm that, and then you ultimately don't leave, and that can actually harm you more than benefit you without you realizing it. That's why it's always good to find objective evidence where possible, to find the narrative that accounts for all the different factors, instead of just finding the narrative that accounts for the factors that only you care about, because you're most likely trying to look for an explanation to the problem, and if you just find the piece of information that you disagree with that's actually likely going to help you, you'll actually get out of the problem altogether, and you won't have to be stuck in echo chambers unless you just love a bit of gossip like we all do. So why echo chambers and confirmation bias apply to dating context is because if you're experiencing a lot of problems in the dating scene, whether you're a man and you're having trouble finding women, or a woman having trouble finding men, you might try and find videos online on the internet that confirm your biases and confirm your blame theories, and that those are kind of what keeps you stuck in the cycle. For example, if you're a man and you think that women only date men of 6 feet in height, and you find videos that confirm that, you'll be stuck trying to, if you're below 6 feet, then you'll be stuck thinking, well, I'm never going to be above 6 feet, so I'm never going to improve, when it's not really about height, it's more about personality, right? And if you're a woman and you think that no men are good enough for you, so you find women that perpetuate that belief structure, you're going to be stuck thinking, well, why is no man interested in me? why are there no good men out there when actually there's plenty of good men out there, and it's just that money isn't everything. Now, I do recognize that there are sort of other variables at play, like financial and educational stress, cost of living, and all that sort of stuff. Those are important variables, but what's important to recognize is that humans have always been able to adapt and survive and overcome challenge. So regardless of whatever stressful variables are at play in the current generation, our ability to overcome them and adapt and survive has always become paramount. I think relying on the excuse of educational attainment or cost of living and all that sort of stuff, I think that's important, and they're important elements, but they sort of are not things that we really need to bank on as the primary reason why there's a dating issue crisis. The primary issue really is the idea that the grass is always greener. That's the primary mechanism. And what's interesting, and this is probably going to shoehorn into the next part of the video, which is the fix. So what's interesting is that humans have always grouped together to survive and thrive, right? So not being in a relationship, this might sound a bit weird, but bear with me for a second. Not being in a relationship is actually the bad choice, because tackling the world alone and by oneself is incompatible with how we've survived as a species for hundreds of thousands of years. Species that live in isolation were extinct a long time ago, and the variants of humans that chose extreme social isolation, they didn't survive natural selection. So people that actually group together and team together are the ones that survive. The fix doesn't really rest on any sole individual, but if I could just put this idea out there in the hopes that maybe it'll change one person's mind, and then that will mean that they'll end up dating someone and they'll improve their life, is basically being alone is the choice that's the bad choice, and being with someone is the choice that's the good choice. That will ensure the survival of your kinship and your bloodline and ultimately improve your happiness and whatnot. I hope that helps people understand the real true underlying mechanisms of what's going on. It really is a mismatch. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more.